Hello, my name is Chisom. I'm 16, and I'm gonna be, you know, explaining myself so y'all can guess like MBTI. So I really don't know how to I don't know how to I don't know what questions to ask. So I literally just search up some questions. So I'm gonna read them out and then answer them. So first question: who or what inspires you to think outside of the box? Um, so who or what inspires me to think outside the box? I would say that's a good question. Uh, I feel like if I don't, then I'm gonna feel uncomfortable, if that makes sense. Because most people understand things on the surface level, like just enough to get by. But I'm not comfortable with that because like that will bring forth uncertainty for sure. And I feel like when something isn't completely understood, I don't have a sense of like control or comfortability around that aspect. For example, the only reason why we're scared of a bear is because we know it's a bear, right? We fully understand the concept. It's a bear. If it's an ant, we're aware that it's an ant. That's why we're not scared of it, because we have a sense of understanding over it, which brings control over that aspect. So for me, it's similar to that. I'm not comfortable being on the surface level of things around me because I feel like I'm just participating in the environment. But I'm the type of person that is comfortable having a sense of control over the environment, like knowing what's around me, like for knowing what it is for what it is. And that's only able to be done when you think outside the box and understand the underlying patterns, because that's where the truth lies, not the surface level of things ever. You know, yeah. All right, next question. What is a common misconception people have about you? So, yeah. So for that question, I would say people don't know that I can like know what they're trying to do, like intention. I'm really good at seeing intention, and I'm the type of person where it's not obvious because I tend to act dumb, because when I do act like how I usually act, people tend to like be like resistant or repellent. So I tend to act like I don't know what's going on, but people don't realize that I'm really seeing things like that, they're like their intention for what they're doing. I'm really seeing who they like truly are through the mask that people would put on. Misunderstanding of what I can, or my capabilities when it comes to seeing through things. Next question. How do you define personal growth? Okay, so like I'm very different when it comes to how I define elevation and things similar to that. But for me, elevation is simply a state of mind where you're able to understand the capabilities of the things around you. For example, I'm gonna bring up a paper, right? For somebody to first think of a paper as just an object, like a piece of wood that somebody cut up and carved up to create paper. And then growth would be then realizing, oh, this paper can do so many things. This paper can make a paper airplane, which can be used to send messages, for example. The paper can be used to write algorithms or create algorithms that was never made before. This paper could be used to store notes with, and then you can later use those notes to like save your life or life-ending situations. If you can pull it up, like the point is, this paper can be used for so many different things, infinite possibilities, right? I feel like growth is having a perception of this paper first being something simple, a narrow-minded way of thinking about what this can do, capabilities of the thing, and then growth is going from that to understanding that there's infinite amount of possibilities. And when you have that mindset on the paper, you now have control over the paper. You're able to use it to its highest potential. You went from a point of first, you went of a point of view of first, like doing what you can to get by, and two, using what you can to the most. You only get to the highest you can be if you really understand the capabilities of something. if you don't understand the capabilities of something, then something's going to be left out. Something is surely going to be left out, so you're not going to be able to, Yeah, bro. Next question is, how do you handle stress or uncertainty? So the way I like to regulate or resolute situations, I literally just try to understand the core of it and why, like what causes, I notice that people don't label arguments. People label arguments as like, we're mad at each other, right? Like this. We're not even labeling the point that they're making and the point that they're making. Once you label that, it'll be so much clearer and there'll be no more strife. You'll see it from a very narrow perspective of and you're able to then navigate into like what, how to resolve the situation. So for me, how I handle stress and uncertainty is I first understand the core of it. And then once you understand the core of something, it's very easy to, after that, I just go with the flow. I'm very good at adapting or improvising out of the situation. And that's easy for me to do because I'm good at seeing what something is for what it really is. Like, I get rid of all those complications that are like hiding the real true thing. And I just I get into it. Because I don't really place value in like the surface level things. I place it in the core of something because that's what really matters, That's what creates that thing, So once I understand that, I really just improvise out the situation. But yeah. Next question. What is your biggest pet peeve? So for me, I really hate closed-mindedness. I hate when somebody is... People don't understand... Some people don't understand that there's a way to do something that would be much more efficient and easier. But they're so caught up in how they like to do things and like, how they categorize their like way of working. People are so caught up in all that they forget that somebody can literally think of an option that is much easier or quicker, more efficient. And they disregard that and they stick to what they're doing. And it's like, you're slowing yourself down for what? Like, I understand that you're comfortable being at a place of certain, like what you're used to, I understand that, but at least don't dismiss ideas. It pisses me off a little bit, bro. Like, yeah, bro. Okay, what does freedom mean to you? So to me, freedom is not how others perceive your freedom. Freedom is simply how you perceive your freedom. For example, somebody could be very comfortable being in shackles, but the general point of view over that, the perception of that is like, he's not free, right? He's in chain, he's in bondage. But that person could very well feel free in that situation. So for that, freedom is not general freedom. It's subjective freedom, because freedom itself is subjective. We all have our different things that we feel like is holding us back. And once we break free from those things, that's our freedom. For example, for me personally, what freedom means to me though, right? So my freedom is literally being able to operate without external control. For example, the reason why I like to label things around me and understand things is because if I don't, I feel like they're controlling me in a way, because it's like they have a power over me because I'm kind of at the mercy, because I can't really understand it. So it's like, what is this? What is that? I don't understand this, right? It's going in my head. So it's like they have a little bit of power over me. So freedom for me is me being able to understand these things, because now I have a sense of control over those things. Not control as in like being, like aggressive or like, not like that, but control in the sense of you're comfortable because there's no confusion. That's what it is. Comfortability because of lack of confusion. That is control that I like, and that's what causes my freedom. Yeah. So freedom to me is comfortability through absence of confusion. It goes to that. Me being able to see something for what it really is, once I can do that, I feel extremely relieved and comfortable around that thing, because I kind of have this inherent power over it in a way, So yeah. So next question. In your opinion, what is the true measure of success? So the true measure of success is it starts from somebody's goal, and then success is reaching that goal. That's literally all it is. Because it's individual. Success is not. I know that we have a general perception of success. You know how society sees it, but true success is subjective. It's literally you reaching your goal. You doing the highest that you wanted to. You doing the highest that you could in what you wanted to do. I feel like is success. So that is what the true measure is, how high you are to your goal. That's all it is, you know. Yeah, bro. What type of person angers you the most? Okay, so nobody really angers me because I have the sense of individualism. Everybody is your own person, and I can't hate that. Like I can't hate how they are, but I would hate what they would do. So nothing really angers me. I would hate people that don't think. I guess I could say, like people would come to assumptions without any basis, and it's like, couldn't we all just do that? I could say that you've committed a crime. I could say so many things about you randomly without any basis, right? That's dumb. So it's important to. I feel like it's important for everybody to have a basis on what they say, so that you know to avoid yeah. I'm gonna say another thing. It's not a question, but I feel like it's important for the MBTI. So what I'm fearful of, I'm gonna talk about what I'm fearful of. So I noticed that I can sense an environment, a sense of pressure or judging, and not judging in a way where it's like, you can't do this, you can't do that. I don't mind that, criticism is good. We need a sense of a scale of how far we can go, that's good. I'm not against that, but it's like, I can sense when I'm in an environment where people are like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Right? It's like the sense of individualism in myself is not there. It's like I am now something that has to follow somebody else's will. Like I can sense it, and it's very like uncomfortable. I don't know how to react. Like I really try to get out of that situation, but I like play it off until I can leave. I can exit. Like yeah, and I can always know when that's happening. Like you're in an environment or like just a gathering where you can feel this negative energy around you. They're like pressuring you down into one way, like one little perception that you should be. Like they're pressuring you down into like one way of thinking when it's just like so suppressing, and I can feel it. And then it's like my sense of individualism is casually being like withered away, and like I need to escape because I just feel uncomfortable. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about how I use feeling. Everyone uses feeling, no one is a robot. We use it in different ways. Some might be less evident, some might be very evident. So but I'm gonna say how I use mine, right? So I'm not really good at, I don't really feel myself. Like I don't have opinions based off feeling usually. Like I don't know how to explain it. How I use feeling is literally onto, I can feel others. Like things that stand out to me, like these negative things and others that stand out to me is when they feel unheard, when they're uncomfortable, when they want to know but it's being shut down from knowing. I could say these three things. In other people, I feel heavily, like I'm very empathetic towards that, and I feel that on a personal level, it gets to me. So I needed to like, in a subtle way, bring that negativity back to like neutral. Like I need to go and do something that will make them feel heard, comfortable, or their conquest of what they want to know. I need to help them get to that, even like, So these things is how he's feeling. And I really don't like saying things that like are like that make you feel bad about yourself. Like on like a internal level. Like I could insult you for sure. I could be like, if someone insults me, I can insult them back. But it's not gonna be an insult where it's like something that you're really gonna ponder on. Like that makes me feel so bad. Like yeah, bro. Like I can't really get too deep with the, you know, it's hard for me to be like extremely rude. Like you'll never find me being extremely rude. Like I hate, I just can't, bro. Like it hurts. Other people's pain hurts me like emotionally, but I don't really feel on a personal level when it comes to me. I don't know how to explain it, bro. All right, but yeah, I'm gonna end with how I grew up. So I feel like it's important for MBTI to see what made you different from society, so that you can extract from that what you have that others don't have, which would then be part of personality, be part of the person. Yeah. So growing up, I've always been the type. You know how I earlier said that I like to have a sense of control over what's around me. I've always been the type to analyze or understand contradictions. Contradictions to me is confusion, like absolute confusion. I can see it very easily. I'm susceptible to noticing it, and how I said earlier that freedom to me is the absence of confusion, right? So when these contradictions are all up in my face, you know, it's like, dang, like what's going on? Like I feel like uneasy. Like why is it like this? Why can't we all be clear? Because contradictions are logical fallacies, you know. It's like I like a path of clearness, so I can have a sense of, you know, control over those things in my perception. And then when there's like a cut in it, something that cuts it out, like a contradiction, it's like, what are we doing? It's like an internal panic, you know, like it's like in internal panic, I need to solve what's behind this so I can understand the contradiction, and then I can now have control over this aspect, you know. So because of that, right, I've always been the type to literally, like, if I see contradictions, I'm very good at noticing it, and I would need to know what's behind it, like what's the truth that should have been behind the contradiction, right? And then it makes me very good for spotting when somebody's arguing and they're just saying a lot of BS, bro. Like it's not gonna fool me, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, bro. But then also, I've been, oh yeah, I'm really into deep truths, hidden truths. I like complexity a lot. I like complexity because then it's something that I can fully endeavor in. When I encounter something complex, I can fully, my abilities can literally be used at its finest, and that feels super. I just feel joyful being in a situation where I'm able to like dig into it, and then I like when it's complex because then it could have been this, it could have been that, it could have been that. I can now the possibilities just keep coming up, and that's enthralling to me. Like, wow, like this thing has this many possibilities. That's value to me. I find value in something that is like something that is profound, but most importantly, I find value in something that is complex. Complexity is value, bro. Anything that's complex, that's value because one, complex things are rare. You know, they're anything that's complex is forced to be rare because whatever is common is simple. You know. Yeah. So